and good morning. Welcome to the 2024 USC Sol Price School of Public Policy Commencement Ceremony. I'm Julie Kim, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, and I have the pleasure and honor to introduce you to our proud graduates as they enter the auditorium. Please rise and welcome the class of 2024. Graduate of the Bachelor of Science in Public Policy and Price School's valedictorian, is leading our dean down the right side of the center aisle. Woojin Song, graduate of the Bachelor of Science in Public Policy, is leading our vice dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Lavana Lewis, down the left side of the center aisle. The faculty are now entering the venue. Dean Dana Goldman and our commencement speaker, Dr. Maria Rosario Jackson, Chair of the National Endowment for the Arts, are leading the faculty down the right side of the center aisle. Vice Dean Lavana Lewis is leading the faculty down the left side of the center aisle. The doctoral graduates are now entering the auditorium, led by Doctor of Philosophy of Public Policy and Management graduate, Rebecca Brooks Smith, and Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development graduate, David Flores Montezuma. Alejandro Alex Vargas Jr., a Doctor of Policy Planning and Development graduate, concludes the doctoral procession. The master students are now entering the auditorium and are proceeding down the center aisle. Leading the procession are the Dollinger Master of Real Estate graduates. They're led by Matthew Harban, President of the Graduate Real Estate Association, and Jennifer Chen. The Master of Urban Planning graduates follow, led by Drew Chakraverty, Graduate Student Government Senator and Finance Chair of Associated Students of Planning and Development, and Luis Joshua Diaz Jacobo, Co-Chair of Associated Students of Planning and Development. Now entering the auditorium are the Executive Master of Urban Planning graduates. They're led by Ben Burns and Joshua Tuck. Continuing the procession are the Master of Health Administration graduates. They're led by Co-President of the Student Health Council and Master of Health Administration Leadership Award recipient, Catherine Chung, and Co-President of the Upsilon Phi Delta Honor Society, Prize Student Ambassador, and Master of Health Administration Advocacy Award recipient, Fong Duzi. The Executive Master of Health Administration graduates are next led by Hannah Caitlin Saria and Active Duty Airman Autumn Hassenberg. Now entering the auditorium are the Master of Nonprofit Leadership and Management graduates, led by USC Price Student Ambassadors Stephanie Perez and Alfisa Elvira Noviturani. Continuing the procession are the Executive Master of Leadership graduates, They're led by graduates Michael Paul Benavente and Sochi Morales. Master of Science in Public Policy Data Science graduates are now entering the auditorium, led by Beth Jabaldi, Dean Certificate of Merit Award recipient, and Bing Yong He. The Master of Public Policy graduates are now entering the auditorium. They're led by Morgan Rose Starr and Chrisia Hiron, co-presidents of the Graduate Policy and Administration community. The Master of International Public Policy and Management graduates are now entering the auditorium. They're led by Yutong Pan, President of the International Public Policy and Management Senate, and Aduzan Taglatuli. Graduates conclude the master's procession, co-led by Michael Matthew Evangelist Watson, graduate student government senator and Dean Certificate of Merit recipient, and Hari Priya Rachakanda, vice president of the Graduate Policy and Administration community. The undergrads are now entering the auditorium. The Bachelor of Science in Urban Studies and Planning graduates are led by Maria Francesca Baccara, Social Media Chair of Undergraduate Planning at Price, and Timothy Labunco, President of Undergraduate Planning at Price, Undergraduate President of Institute of Transportation Engineers, and Dean Senior Award recipient. Science and Public Policy graduates follow, led by Coleman Unu Sun, founder of Public Policy undergraduates at Price and Dean's Merit Award recipient, and Russell Griffin Bibalco Augustine, undergraduate student, government senator, Warren Bennett scholar, and Ashaka Young changemaker. Science, led by USC Associate Scholar David Papazayed and Director of Off-Campus Events for the Trojan Real Estate Association, Francesca Bennett. seated and help me welcome to the stage Dana Goldman, the USC Price School's Dean and the C. Irwin and Ione L. Piper Chair.
Congratulations to the class of 2024. I want to welcome you to your commencement ceremony, along with the family and friends who have gathered to celebrate the accomplishments of this remarkable class. Just 2 years ago, I stood on this stage and handed my son, Jared, his diploma for the Price Bachelor of Science in Real Estate Development. It was one of the proudest moments of my life. So I appreciate the significance of this day and what it means to all of you. And I hope that you'll find it reassuring that Jared actually has a job. But I do want to confirm I'm still doing his laundry. But in all seriousness, the Price School provides a foundation from which you can change the world through public policy. Any public policy students out there? Public administration, urban planning, nonprofit leadership, health administration, or real estate development. What binds us together is a common mission to build healthy, strong communities. Graduates, you've spent your time at Price learning from our world-class faculty, collaborating with exceptional peers, and broadening your worldview. All of this takes place on a global stage, in one of the world's most iconic cities, in an environment committed to academic freedom. What could possibly go wrong? During your time here, you've experienced tremendous upheaval: COVID isolation, civil and political unrest, the rise of AI, and the like. By the way, speaking of AI, last year I added the disclaimer that ChatGPT did not write my commencement speech. This year I want to add the disclaimer that I do not have a worm in my brain. I think probably 10 of you got that joke, but that's fine. But in short, you've seen our nation become increasingly polarized. I'm reminded of the lessons of Paul Volcker, a legendary and dedicated public servant who fought chronic inflation in the 70s and 80s as chair of the Federal Reserve. Speaking at a presidential reception and reflecting on his 30-year career in government, Volcker noted that skepticism towards government is part of our common heritage. But when healthy skepticism degenerates into corrosive cynicism, we are in trouble. His belief was that effective administration could rebuild trust in our institutions and counter the weakening of democracy. I wish he could meet this class. I've spoken with and heard from many of you. I'm struck by your empathy, compassion, and practical desire to do good. Whatever your path, I'm confident you will help create more vibrant and equitable communities worldwide and restore some of this lost trust. This ceremony is the culmination of USC's mission to cultivate and enrich the human mind and spirit. Along the way, you sought wisdom and insight, truth and moral discernment. And you did this with respect and appreciation for others, core values that are deeply embedded in our collective DNA. And speaking of appreciation, I would like to thank our exceptional faculty and staff and security personnel who've worked so hard to make this celebration special. Please join me in applauding them. And now I would like to ask our graduating students to rise. Graduates, you have demonstrated your commitment to these universal ideals. Thus, by the authority vested in me by the USC Board of Trustees and President, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree or certificate for which you have been recommended by the faculty, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. As evidence of these degrees and certificates, I shall direct that an appropriate diploma of the University of Southern California be presented to each of you, signed by its officers and embossed with the seal of the university. Congratulations, class of 2024. You may be seated. In keeping with our theme of public service, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. As chair of the National Endowment for the Arts, Dr. Maria Rosario Jackson knows a thing or two about impact. And that's not just because she earned her Master's of Public Administration from the Price School. It's also because she clearly cares about making a difference, and she's doing so in exciting, innovative ways. She has spent 25 years promoting arts, culture, and design, not just because they're good for the soul, but because they're good for society. Dr. Jackson has worked with other federal agencies to explore how arts and culture contribute to public health, community engagement, social connectedness, among other goals. This makes her one of the nation's premier public intellectuals, and we couldn't be prouder and more grateful to host her as our commencement speaker today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Maria Rosario Jackson.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Dean Goldman, I thank you and your staff for including me in this wonderful celebration. And to the graduates in the class of 2024, congratulations. Your years at the USC Price School of Public Policy have been momentous, and today we gather to celebrate your accomplishments and mark the start of your next chapter. To the parents, family, and friends of the graduates, congratulations and thank you for your support and encouragement. And to the faculty who have shared their wisdom and guidance with our graduates, thank you. This celebration is for you too. Graduates, yes. Graduates, 35 years ago, I stood in a similar place to where you are standing now. A new graduate trained in public administration and community development here at University of Southern California in what is now part of the Price School. I was committed to make a difference, committed to building on the work of those who came before me, those who had a vision of a just society with opportunity for everyone. A country that values diversity, inclusivity, kindness, generosity, expression, and accountability. I felt like I had a direction and a charge left to each of us as stewards and sculptors of our civic infrastructure, as people who help shape communities, towns, cities, and our nations, a charge to help ensure that we move toward a future in which all people can thrive and reach their full potential. I didn't know how my career would unfold, but I knew that I was on my way and that my education at USC would help me ask good questions and make good choices. Over the course of my career, I've worked across sectors in government and public policy, philanthropy, the nonprofit sector, and higher education. And for much of my career, my work has been at the intersection of community uplift and the arts. I have the honor and the privilege to have been appointed by the President to serve as the chair of the National Endowment for the Arts. And I've been in this position for a bit over 2 years. From this perch, my role is to help ensure that all people in our nation have access to the arts and to the benefits of the arts. And I don't take this responsibility lightly, because one thing I know for sure is that none of the things that we say we aspire to as a society of opportunity and justice are possible without the intentional integration of arts, culture, and design into all facets of our lives and the systems that we rely on to care for each other. The arts help us make sense of the world, offer us different ways of thinking, feeling, and being. They're a source of inspiration and innovation. They're key to our resilience, our ability to thrive, and so importantly, the arts help us protect and advance our humanity, see our interconnectedness, and help us recognize our commonalities as well as our meaningful differences. Without question, we are in need of what the arts have to offer now. Decades ago, when I was starting off in my career, arts and culture was a very niche part of the urban planning and community development discourse, if it was part of the conversation at all. Plenty of people considered it superfluous, icing on the cake. But my compass guided me on a path, and it was a path that I had to help pave. My focus was to bring arts and culture into our concepts of healthy communities, into public policy, urban planning, and equitable comprehensive community development. And now, today at the NEA, building on previous work and launching new initiatives, we're showing that arts, culture, and creativity, that's not icing on the cake. That's a critical element of the batter. Alongside recognizing the importance of the arts in expressing and lifting up our humanity more and more, arts and culture are understood as crucial elements of communities, contributing to our economy, our health and well-being, to our civil discourse and our democracy, and to the social fabric and more. At the NEA, as is the case at USC, we're not starting from scratch. Whether it's through NEA's longstanding partnerships with the Departments of Defense and Veterans Affairs to address post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injuries, or whether it's taking on issues related to economic development through our partnership with Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis. Our work with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is helping communities to heal in the wake of disasters. We're relying on the arts to help unlock new opportunities and solutions so that communities can heal and thrive. Earlier this year, these efforts culminated in the NEA producing a first-of-its-kind national summit on the role of arts and culture in communities. And the NEA, in partnership with the White House Domestic Policy Council, jointly convened nearly 500 in-person attendees and more than 3,000 virtual participants, including artists, arts professionals, healthcare workers, philanthropic leaders, and federal, state, and local government officials representing agencies overseeing infrastructure, climate change, health and human services, disaster response, education, community development, and more. The Surgeon General, Second Gentleman, members of Congress, as well as labor and community leaders gave voice to the many ways arts and culture strengthen their work. Perhaps the conversation and the collaboration between the arts and other fields taking place now would have been considered highly improbable decades ago. But here we are, advancing a paradigmatic shift that will help get us unstuck and arrive at new and more nuanced ways of seeing and understanding our conditions, our challenges and opportunities, and different ways of designing and implementing impactful solutions. Experiencing and participating in the arts provides us with opportunities to connect with each other and practice the habits of democracy. Creating and experiencing art is one of the most powerful ways to develop the skills and habits needed to be curious, to ask questions, to fulfill the duties of citizenship in a participatory democracy. Through culture and the arts, we build and flex our civic muscles. We improve our capacity to communicate and understand needs, manage differences, and solve communal problems. So my message to you is to dream big and stay the course. You entered the Price School, as our dean said, in a time of challenges, a global pandemic, intensifying impacts of climate change, exacerbated inequities in communities that were already marginalized, heightened awareness of injustice, a fractured political context that jeopardizes our democracy, global instability. To be certain, these challenges persist, but please recognize that this isn't only a time of challenges. You leave the Price School in a time that is also marked by opportunity. Opportunity to question our orthodoxies, as we all had to do during the pandemic. Opportunity afforded by advancements in technology, and opportunities afforded by understanding the power of urgency and shared humanity. In this context, and in the spirit of the Price School's statement of core values, you are called to serve as guardians of the public interest and common good. This is a time to lay the foundation of the next version of our society. You have gained tools, developed skills, and are prepared to make a difference. You are the next generation of civic leaders and problem solvers. The arts, culture, and design are a critical part of the solution to some of our nation's and our world's most urgent challenges. And I encourage you to embrace the essential role of the arts in helping to solve national and global challenges and address local needs as well. Seeing you today, I'm encouraged and hopeful about our collective future. And as you embark on the next phase of your lives, I want to offer just a few bits of advice. First, find and follow your compass. Get clear about what your gifts are and what your work is, not just your job, but your work, what's in your heart, and what you know is in your gut to be your part. Ask yourself, what am I supposed to be offering and contributing to the world? And don't be afraid to ask this of yourself from time to time, because your answer may evolve. Second, as you navigate your career, don't be afraid to be uncomfortable for a little while. Be willing to stretch and be curious. Lead with questions. Be open-minded. Seek out different perspectives, consider them, and even attempt to find connection in what may be foreign and different. Third, cultivate a sense of culture of possibility wherever you are. The perch or position that allows you to honor what's in your heart may not be immediately obvious, and it may not even exist, but that doesn't mean that you can't do your work. It means that you may have to reinterpret an opportunity or even invent one. You may have to pave the path you've decided to walk, and that won't always be easy, but trust me, it's worthwhile. If that's the case, try to find joy in that and celebrate the lessons, the victories, large and small, along the way. Fourth, find your community. Find the people who help make you better and stronger, the folks who will believe in you, the folks who will hold you lovingly accountable, help you see clearly, and always wish you well. Some of them are right here, right now. Others have come long before you, and you stand on their shoulders. You're building on their work, and still others you may not have yet met. When you need to do something that requires courage, imagine them earnestly and steadfastly behind you. They'll have your back. Fifth, tell your truth, be nimble, but don't be distracted by noise and baseless naysayers. Know the terrain and stay focused. And last, have fun, laugh. Be generous, be grateful, and have the courage to follow your imagination. So now, go forward, walk your path, know that you have a legion of people rooting for you. I can't wait to see and hear about the wonderful things that you'll do. Congratulations, graduates. Fight on.
What a wonderful message. Not just I spoke to you about the challenges, and she spoke about the opportunities, not just to heal, but to thrive. Thank you very much, Dr. Jackson. I now have the honor and pleasure of introducing the Price School valedictorian, a student whose academic excellence is matched by her moral character and commitment to social change. Keaton Dickinson was still a junior in high school when she started advocating for gun safety by founding a chapter of Students Demand Action. She went on to testify before Washington state lawmakers who passed a bill that she supported addressing gun violence. She arrived at the Price School to pursue so that was all before she arrived. She arrived at the Price School to pursue a bachelor's in public policy. But after witnessing the homelessness crisis in Los Angeles, she tacked on a minor in real estate development and began working in affordable housing development. I have no doubt that she will accomplish what Dr. Jackson said, which is to go on to make an enormous difference in the world. It gives me great pleasure to turn the podium over to Keaton Dickinson, the Price School's valedictorian for 2024.
Good morning. It's such an honor to stand here before you all, graduates, faculty, and everyone who shaped the class that I'm so proud to represent, class of 2024. I was 10 years old when I took my first tour of USC. I was surrounded by much older students, and I think the tour guide could tell that I was more concerned with the number of swimming pools on campus than the academics, but I knew this was a special place. I told the tour guide that I was going to graduate from USC. I wanted to be like my dad, who graduated in 1989 thanks to the USC Associate Scholarship. 34 years later, I received the same scholarship. I've been able to follow in my father's footsteps at USC, but I must say, our collective college experience has been markedly different from all those who've come before us. In many ways, this school has changed for the better. Today, our talented and diverse graduating class is made up of a record number of first-generation college students. Right? Who've overcome tremendous challenges to be here, paving the way for future generations. And today, USC is led by women, from the boardroom to the basketball court, women who continue to build a legacy for the future women of Troy to stand on to. At the same time, the class of 2024 has faced unprecedented challenges. For Price undergraduates, this is the first graduation we've ever attended. It's hard to find the words to adequately address the magnitude of losses that we've faced. But each time we've responded with empathy, resilience, and determination. When a pandemic shut down public life, student researchers from the Price Health Administration program worked tirelessly to rectify health disparities and improve community outreach. As gun violence continues to claim lives across the country, Price students pioneered research on active shooter interventions, work that no one should have to do. Meanwhile, Los Angeles continues to grapple with the consequences of a devastating housing crisis. And in response, Price students in the Housing Policy Research Institute engaged our legislators with research-backed solutions to homelessness. With scholarships in peril and tuition costs outpacing inflation, the class of 2024 fought to reinstate the Academic Achievement Award to ensure that USC's dual degree programs remain accessible to our most deserving classmates. The Price School embodies fearlessness, drive, and most of all, service. And after all that the class of 2024 has been through, we continue to embody these values. Tomorrow, we will no longer be Price students. We will enter the world as developers and urban planners, designing livable communities for those who need it most. We will enter the world as policymakers and public servants addressing society's most pressing challenges with thoughtfulness and care. And wherever we end up, and whatever life inevitably throws at us next, we will continue to dedicate our lives to the betterment of others. Class of 2024, congratulations.
Thank you, Keaton. Now is the time to recognize and celebrate each graduating student. We will now call up graduates individually for the presentation of the diplomas. Our graduates will receive ceremonial diploma covers, and the official diplomas will be mailed in 4 to 6 weeks. Bureaucracy. We will begin with the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Policy Planning and Development candidates, who will be hooded by their dissertation chairs, then follow with diploma presentations to the master's candidates, and conclude with the undergraduate candidates. Graduates, once you have received your diplomas, we kindly ask that you return to your seats until all of your fellow graduates have received their diplomas. This will ensure that all graduates are honored. Parents and guests, professional photographers are present and will take pictures of the graduates during the diploma presentation. Information on ordering pictures will be sent to each graduate after the ceremony. Please do not crowd the aisles of the area in front of the stage to take pictures of your graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy and Management and Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development degrees. Associate Professor and Director of the PhD programs, John Romley, will join Dean Goldman.
Rebecca Brooks Smith, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy and Management. Dissertation title, Redlining, Neighborhood Change, and Individual Outcomes, an exploration of how space shapes the landscape of inequality from past to present. Dissertation chair, Dr. Gary Painter. Shungjia Xu, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy and Management. Dissertation title, Healthcare Utilization and Spending in the U.S. Aging Population. Dissertation chair, Dr. Alice Chen. Yimin Ge, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy and Management. Dissertation title, Essays on the U.S. Market for Substance Use Treatment and the Impact of Medicaid Policy Reform. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Rosalie Pacula. Hyonak Ha, Doctor of Philosophy and Public Policy and Management. Dissertation title, 3 Essays on the Political Economy of Federal Spending. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Jeff Jenkins. Rinzi Shin, Doctor of Philosophy and Policy and Management. Dissertation title, Mega Event Environmental Regulations and Air Pollution in China. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Antonio Bento. Noah Miller, Doctor of Philosophy and Public Policy and Management. Dissertation title, Climate Change, Air Pollution and Health, How Policy Can Induce Adaptation. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Antonio Bento. David Moctezuma, Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development, and Analysis of Homeownership Trends in the United States, the Hispanic Home Ownership Gap. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Dal Myers. Robert Brent Binder, Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development. Dissertation title, Brushing Shoulders, In-Transit Social Interactions and Intersecting Identities in Los Angeles and Detroit. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Jen Giuliano. Alana Coombs, Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development. Dissertation title, The History of Autonomous Vehicle Development and Its Likely Futures and Consequences. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Jen Giuliano. Clemens Andre Pilgram, Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development. Dissertation title, Urban Consumer Amenities and Their Accessibility. Dissertation Chair, Dr. Marlon Bornett. Bonnie Xuan Wang, Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Planning and Development. Dissertation title, The Long-Term Impact of COVID-19 on Commute, Employment, Housing, and Environment in the Post-Pandemic Era. Dissertation chair, Dr. Marlon Bornett.
Congratulations to the Doctor of Philosophy graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Doctor of Policy Planning and Development degree. Associate Professor and Vice Dean for Graduate Programs, Julia Musso will join Dean Goldman.
Alejandro Alex Vargas Jr., Doctor of Policy Planning and Development. Dissertation title, Unraveling the Threads of Tragedy, a public health exploration of adverse childhood experiences as precursors to targeted school violence and protective factors for mitigation strategies. Dissertation chair, Dr. William Leach. Hossein Pourmond, Doctor of Policy Planning and Development. Dissertation title, Adoption and Implementation of Innovative Diagnostic Tools for Alzheimer's Disease, Challenges and Barriers in Primary Care. Dissertation chair, Dr. Julie Zissimopoulos. Jason Townsell, Doctor of Policy Planning and Development. Dissertation title, The Perceived Effects of Clean Water Infrastructure in Nasarawa State, Nigeria. Dissertation chair, Dr. William Leach. Topher Taylor, Doctor of Policy Planning and Development. Dissertation title, The Human Performance Intention Experiment. Dissertation chair, Dr. Peter Robertson.
Congratulations to the Doctor of Policy Planning and Development graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Dollinger Master of Real Estate Development degree, Professor and Chair of the Wilbur H. Smith III Department of Real Estate Development, and Director and Chair of the USC Lusk Center for Real Estate, Richard Green, will join Dean Goldman.
Jennifer Chen.
Matthew Harband.
Terrence Tao.
Justin Raymond Leininger.
Daniel Ling.
Aaron Cohen.
Cindy Madoshi.
Cameron Ricks.
Sarah Paige McDowell.
Marty Formico.
Maxwell Daly Erickson.
Ryan Foster Werner.
Luis Alberto Carmona.
Craig Pilla.
Victor Andres Casanova.
Charles Cooper.
Daniel Brunel.
Ty Hack.
Lauren Smith.
Michael Gerardo.
Shay Bartolino.
Justin Brandon Kim.
Michael Scott Hernandez.
Brennan Riddle.
Alex Boras Arevalo.
Congratulations to the Dollinger Master of Real Estate and Development graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Urban Planning degree. Professor and Chair of the Department of Urban Planning and Spatial Analysis, David Sloan, will join Dean Goldman.
Luis Joshua Diaz Jacobo.
Dhruv Chakravarti.
Tyler Matthews.
Gabriela del Carmen Magana.
Aiden Marie Holiday.
Chi Chen Dylan D.
Celia Escobar.
Zhou Xiao.
Abigail Lopez Lemus.
Hong Su Yan.
Smirna Caraveo.
Chin He Wang.
James Lee.
Xing Liu.
Sophia Woolens.
Avery Tao.
Zeke Wapner.
Jason Allen Long.
Chase Wilson.
Claire Park.
Whitney Elizabeth Weisberg.
Samida Combly.
Amanda Lillian Ojeda.
Srilata Adepelli.
Kylie Morikawa.
Dina Alice Fuzise Frimato.
Sam Malnati.
Nicole Brooke Katz.
Aria Ilana Bernal.
Brianna Segueza.
Kirsten A. Turner.
Riley Elise Arian.
Paul Castellana.
Angeline Mendoza.
Racy Shu. Emily Wong. Yue Han. Yilin Liu. Ke Zhang. Shaolin Zhang. Ria Tumpi. Peter Monty.
Sorry. Congratulations to the Master of Urban Planning graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Executive Master Urban Planning degree. Professor of Teaching and Program Director of the Urban Planning Programs, Liz Folletta, will join Dean Goldman.
Anne-Marie Conti.
Ravati Das.
Yuen Zhu.
Ben Burns.
Makina Grace Alexander.
Robin Griffin.
Timoteo Juarez Jr.
Julia Lynn Patterson. Blair Zaritsky. Yishao Liu. Nubis Chen. Young-Soo Kwon. Daria Vladmirova Puchechev. Naninka Dasagawa. Rogelio Martinez. Rasan Brown.
Congratulations to the Executive Master of Urban Planning graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Health Administration degree. Professor and Chair of the Department of Health Policy and Management, Jason Doctor, will join Dean Goldman.
Fong Duzi.
Catherine Chung.
Jocelyn Rose Avila.
Brianna Mashur.
Asiya Vardanyan.
Ashley Wang.
Anna Dekayan.
Tiana Lee.
Adelina Antonian.
Brandy Hitchcock.
Linda Mercedes Lafarga.
Michelle Young.
Brian Munoz.
Catherine Wedekine.
Bhavani Modi.
Nava Nasiri.
Angel Pranita.
Christopher Jeremy Lynn.
Danielle Farias.
Brian Ho.
Kendall Washington.
Ji Hoon Kwan.
Hannah Valles.
Anthony Gove.
Janet Vargas.
Nathan Wang.
Ana Rodriguez Ibarra.
Benjamin Nguyen.
Amira Alexander.
Jose Olivar.
Lily McKayla.
Vivek Teja Pukala. Zhenlin Song.
Gracie Lynn Williams.
Aditi Thakur.
Nina Kim.
Justin Lowe.
Evan Cortez.
Serena Basale Santoro.
Elijah Williams.
Kayla Autumn Kim.
Allison Marie Simmons.
Diana Marash.
Estelle Francis Cadrain.
Nile Chetan Desai.
Melisha Dogra.
Charles Ocampo.
Ali Jones.
Talene Hovagimian.
Rehana Fikre.
Natasha Alwyn.
Jushan Pan.
Sandra Wynn.
Dina Shoker.
Haniz Shameridzda.
Chitwant Kaur.
Umesh Naharian.
Congratulations to the Master of Health Administration graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Executive Master of Health Administration degree.
Ranganathan Madhavan.
Hannah Caitlin Soria.
Darylyn Granados.
Rabia Rahman.
Johanna Benavides.
Patricia Rivas Tran.
Michelle Louise Medell.
Craig Kim.
Sandra M. Cortez Schultz.
Luke on Andrew Babbitt.
Arpane Torashan.
Edith Samano Gutierrez.
Kelly Huen.
Takuye Iyet Tanikian.
Lori Renee McCollum Bailey.
Wendy C.
Selena Rose Oro.
Alina Baskina.
Aiden Martinez.
May M. Lee.
Maurice Darrell Flowers.
Jay Parikh.
Teresa de la Cruz Sarte.
Michelle Kwan Lee Chu.
Kiwana Stevenson.
Laura Salim.
Bessie Rivera.
Congratulations to the Executive Master of Health Administration graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Nonprofit Leadership and Management degree. Program Director Regina Birdsell will join Dean Goldman.
Hafiza Elvira Nofita Rene.
Stephanie Perez.
Inyo Chinka.
Sunny Wan,
Ernesto Corona.
Samantha Page Doozy, Devin Claire McCann,
Congratulations to the Master of Nonprofit Leadership and Management graduates.
one more here,
Dean
Angele
Goldman.
Thomas.
Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Executive Master of Leadership degree. Retired Program Director Carol Geffner will join Dean Goldman.
Michael
Sochi-
Paul Benedevente,
Sochi Morales.
Richard Stephen Wallen,
Sarah Padilla Casillas.
Gilbert Daniel Juarez,
Barbara K. Roddy Reeves.
James McCoy,
Jose Roberto Gonzalez.
Congratulations to the Executive Master of Leadership graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Science in Public Policy Data Science degree. Associate Professor of Teaching and Program Director Mark Phillips will join Dean Goldman.
Sing Yi Sun.
Bess Javadi,
Leah Tian.
Yi Chen Town,
Yiming Zhen.
Yu Yao Huang,
Vanessa Berg.
Bing Yan He, Madison Siman Wu, Rachel Nina Jackson,
Congratulations to the Master of Science in Public Policy Data Science graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Public Policy degree.
Chrissia Huron.
Morgan Rose Starr,
Claudia Diane Galliani.
Maggie Giovanetti,
Peter Monti.
Alexis Taylor Goodley, Mariana Kramer De Luna,
Ariana Zacharias.
Abigail Margaret May Bender,
Jennifer Nicole Smith.
Anne Luella Wesley,
Sirarpi Moradian.
Emily Ellison,
Simrandeep Sandhu.
Hector Velasquez,
Ivy Chung.
Melissa Natalie Rivera.
Kay Gu.
Emily Thomas.
Azam Dadaboy.
Amanda M. Pentuha.
Markande Ravi.
Alexandra Perez.
Asan Habib Joy.
Salvador Olguin.
Alma Atasi.
Celia Bartel.
Jesse Cower.
Erica Ann Rogers.
Ana Kulika Soriano.
Emily Caitlin Phillips.
John Powers.
Aldo V. Garcia.
Yue Liu.
Giselle Berrigan.
Giazure Yu.
Nina Dubavtietsky.
Mingyang Yang.
Gabriela Del Carmen Magana.
Debarun Sharbubi Dia.
Riley Elise Arion.
Congratulations to the Master of Public Policy graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of International Public Policy and Management degree. Associate Professor of Teaching and Program Director Reem Kaki will join Dean Goldman.
Adilzan Tagatuli.
Yu Tong Pan.
Zana Amunova.
Ali Al-Hadan.
Abilaihan Hanjeldiev.
Sholpan Baimagamigetva.
Elmira Kamitova.
Yu Dream Chen.
Youngwon Kim.
Maxine Wang.
Jung-Yoon Lee.
Yongfei Chen.
Jungmin Lee.
Namju Park. Ruo
Jinwook.
Shui Wong.
Jinwook Jeong. Bohan Zhao. Peng Wan. Gilang Tanri Desnantia. Gamu Hadia Utama. Jia Lee. Udaya Jackie. Jiang Yang. Lu Zhong. Seohyun Lee. Iling Jong.
Congratulations to the International Public Policy and Management graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Public Administration degree. Associate Professor and Vice Dean for Graduate Programs, Juliet Musso will rejoin Dean Goldman.
Haripriya Rachakonda.
Michael Matthew Evangelos Watson.
Laura Hurtado.
Megan Patrick.
Alana Sophia Gutkin.
Daniel John Hornbeek.
Mira Brown.
Priya Ranganath.
Yasmin Mahia Kudir.
Brenda Mutuma Johannes.
Amna Rustam.
Nia Maran Hernandez.
Isa Khalid Al-Hadri.
Witten Gibson.
Nicholas Rodriguez.
Emily Anne-Marie Bradford.
Javin Seward.
Justin Daniel Buchert.
Paula Alejandra Nahira.
Renee Michelle Musgrove.
Lucero Maricela Perez.
Matthew Patterson.
Claudio Sandoval.
Derek Avaya Maioli.
Erica Isabel Flores.
Patrick Ben.
Francesca D'Alessandro.
Makul Austin Wodnick.
Sarah Nicole Alvarado.
Xianyu Lee.
Patricia Mendoza.
Chin Rui Wang.
Chance Allen Groom.
Ziyi Wang. Ziyi Chen.
Ethan Heisler.
Ziyi Wang. Rong Liu.
Tatiana Agapulu.
Talia Israel.
Mary McAdam.
Olivia Esther Bernheimer.
Carrick Lindsay.
Nicole Brooke Katz.
Jason Ryu.
Dina Alice Fuyayev Frimoto.
Tucker Rivera.
Alberto Gordillo.
Michael Ocon.
Komal Kirti Singh.
Fangzhou Lu.
Haley Rata.
Melissa Elaine Romero.
Lydia Thung.
Kaylin Leanne Olmos.
Samantha Johnson.
Jessica Benitez.
Rebecca Ronsky.
Vanessa Giselle Salguero.
Luis Angel Sanchez.
Selena Castillo Araujo.
Natalia Zavala Ramirez.
Valeria M. Vergen.
Alexis Jing Diaz.
Okay. Shada Opedieke.
Christian Antonio Vasquez.
Brenda Sanchez Murillo.
Jonathan Antonio.
Kenneth Madrigal.
Xin-Ye Wang.
Alyssa Mia Martinez.
Tenga Aduiguno.
Kimberly Salguero Perez.
Antonio Okeke.
Donovan Leonardo Orozco Preciado.
Eddie Flores.
Miguel Urbina.
Sabrina Soraya Cox.
Carla Jocelyn Aguilar.
Mark Nason.
Justin Razor England.
Sun Chang.
Valeria Orozco.
Scarlett Liu.
Cassandra Nayeli Aguilera.
Menglong Shu.
Jessica Depis.
Jingjae Guo.
Josiane Wee.
Yu Chun Tuan.
Shishuan Sun.
Ziqi Yuan.
Ifan Lee.
Grace Catherine Hagen Martin.
Suquan Choi.
Erica Nam.
Gayor Yang.
Mei Shen Lee.
Kimia Danielle Haley.
Ji Yoon Kim.
Bangjun Sun.
Nam Ki An.
John Peng Sun. Sung.
Yi Hong Lu.
Hao Gui Huang.
Miao Gu Wang. Kelly Chang Shu. Kiar Shan Lee. Chuen Lei Zhou. Louise MacArthur. Yul Kim. Yi Tong Lee. Yi Tong Lee. Olga Corona de la Cruz.
Congratulations to the Master of Public Administration graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Urban Studies and Planning degree. Professor of Teaching and Vice Dean for undergraduate programs, Grace Bong will join Dean Goldman.
Timothy Labunco.
Maria Francesca Barquera.
Eric Jackson Chin.
Julian Kaiser.
Deandra Chow Kro Putro.
Christian Llamas.
Angela Lustria Malugaya.
Ashley Alexandra Espinosa.
Justin Adam Smith.
Salvador Christian Rodriguez. Jamal Ogwin.
Congratulations to the Bachelor of Science in Urban Studies and Planning graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Public Policy degree.
Coleman Unu Sun.
Russell Griffin Bibalco Augustine.
Adam Allen.
Peter Henry.
Stacy Hoya.
Fernanda de la Toro Arroyo.
Christopher Sok.
Yehuda Benjamin Potash.
Asmite Zacharias.
Sydney Mayo.
Disha Chalani.
Vincent Cisneros.
Taylor Michaela Clanton.
Sam Habibi.
Braylon Baker.
Nivea Krishnun.
Araceli Talavera.
Melissa Beatriz Ayala.
Kevin Gomez.
Zaid Diaz Arias.
Maya Simone Givon.
David Martinez.
CJ Haddad.
Jai E. Wang.
Catherine Ming Albano.
Yi Xin John.
Michaela Golshani.
Hao Min Young.
Ashley Wang.
Julian Se Chong Guao.
Tony Mankowitz.
Se Chin Dubé.
Siri Cantor.
Owen Avery Tyser.
Rachel
Monty
Laura
Rutherford Hughes.
Rachel Laura Rosenblatt.
Ethan Mark Satude McNeil.
Victoria Brookings.
Angela Beth Chin.
Elias Abodi.
Kennedy Luther Salinas Villa.
Talia Noel Wanukean. Erin Elizabeth Buchanan. Keaton Duckinson. Ujin Song.
Congratulations to the Bachelor of Science in Public Policy graduates. Dean Goldman, I now present to you the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Real Estate Development degree. Professor and Chair of the Wilbur H. Smith III Department of Real Estate Development, Richard Green, will rejoin Dean Goldman.
David Papazan.
Francesca Monique Bennett.
Keisha Lynn Albright.
Webb Hayes.
Isabella Marie Ross.
Connor Elliott Henderson.
Natalia Fabiola Lozano.
Jake William Pollard.
Gabriella Poli.
Harrison Quam.
Ashley Morosco.
Cole Patrick McHone.
Finn McCool Dignan Gottlieb.
Rohan Sonkureddy.
Benunzuri Musabekova.
Lawrence Mark Etkuben Tarquino.
What do you prefer?
Aram Arpayan.
Julian Madrid.
Pearson Bender.
Pedro Velasco.
Veda Mehubeni.
Damon Rosado.
Haley Lynn Person.
Ethan
Anna Leigh
Alexander
Boswell.
Ford. Donicio Sethri Kevin Miles Simmons.
Jessica Lauren Brightman.
Johnny Masarayan.
Ryan Hunter Brightman.
Max Akelian Ocon.
Nathan Mariamian.
Michael Sarkis Balyan.
Michael Nasani.
Ethan Scott Firestone.
Kyle T. Yen.
Pasha Kasani.
Caitlin Sophia Roditis.
Brandon Davari.
Mitchell David Adams.
Anya Rose Tai.
Shaylin Patel.
Madison Antosi.
Joshua Hebroni.
Benjamin Youssef Melamed.
Aviv Shoshani.
Daniel Edward Ryan.
Melissa Manesh.
Nadia Dominique O'Reilly.
Talia Tal Albaz.
Matthew Rhodes.
Portia Marie Osage.
Jonathan Joseph Shoshan.
Christy Kim.
Georgia Nolan.
Noah Christopher Serden.
Taylor Mozart.
Maria Francesca Barquera.
Rosalind Carlson.
Wen Shen Kuo.
Peter Beard.
Kai Xiao.
Luca Tomorrow.
Alex Timothy Pimentel.
Jacob Cameron Danishkar.
Peter Thomas Gregorian.
Jesse Arya Udai.
Bob Yo-Wee Hong.
Alexandra Rahimi.
Nathaniel Lucas Romero.
Jacob Perfect.
Noah Torres.
Nathan Dean Keola Tennant.
Jeremiah Caden Stephen.
Christian Michael Thomas.
All right, now we can go. Andres DeWerk.
Carson P. Kranz.
Shane Foley.
Laura Juliette Loeb.
Maya Domick.
Greg Goldberg Zashin.
Emily Kornguth.
Harrison Smith.
Campbell Jane Lewis.
Christopher Michael Wood.
Robert Anthony Spooner.
Joshua Jack Wood. Sasha Ura. Julia Elizabeth Shields. Charles Littleworth. Sean Patrick Francis Chapon. Emily K. Hoovey. Monica Ramza Haumra. Max Bross.
Congratulations to the Bachelor of Science in Real Estate Development graduates. This concludes the presentation of the candidates. Please welcome back to the podium Dean Goldman.
So, will the students who are still here please stand? To the assembled faculty and staff, family and friends, I proudly present to you a brave subset of the USC Saul Price School of Public Policy of 2024. Congratulations to all of you. We look forward to seeing what you accomplish. Please join us for a reception beginning at 1 p.m. today at Lewis Hall, also known as RGL, the Price School headquarters. Just follow the signs posted outside. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk, assuming you don't have too much metal on you. Now please be seated for the recessional. Thank you and fight on.